Aloha and welcome back to the Siren Circle. I am Alicia Marie and I am so grateful to have you joining me today for episode 12. If you are tuning in for the first time, welcome to the circle. You picked a high vibe, deeply magical week to jump in with us. Today we are shifting the atmosphere completely. We are moving out of the heavy structural bedrock of Saturn that we laid down last week, and we are stepping right into the light, fluid, and deeply synchronistic realm of divine communication. Today is all about angel numbers, decoding the cosmic GPS and signals of synchronicity. Now, let's be honest about what brings us to this topic. Almost everyone, whether they consider themselves deeply spiritual, mildly curious, or totally skeptical, has experienced that strange, uncanny moment where the physical world seems to wink at them. You glance at your phone screen and it's 11:11 on the dot. You order your morning coffee and the receipt comes out to $4.44. You're driving down the highway, contemplating a massive life decision, and three license plates in a row hit you with a 777 or a 555. Modern society loves to brush these moments off as pure statistical coincidence or random luck. But in a world of energy, form, and ancient mysticism, randomness is an illusion. You are not losing your mind, and you are not forcing patterns out of thin air. You are experiencing an active, real time dialogue with the universe. Angel numbers are a high frequency numerical code, little celestial breadcrumbs left by your spirit guides, ancestors, higher self, and the universe to let you know that you are being heard, guided, and supported across dimensions. But here's the thing, seeing the numbers is only step one. The real magic happens when you learn how to actually read those messages. Because seeing 111 when you're having a fear based thought means something completely different than seeing it when you are plotting a bold new business idea. So, in today's deep dive, we are going to crack open the vault on this divine language and give you a complete user's manual for your cosmic GPS. We are going to start by deconstructing the mechanics of synchronicity, looking at the bridge between Carl Jung's psychology and the physical neuroscience of your brain's reticular activating system to explain how spirit uses your physical biology to hand you downloads. Then we're going to dive deep into two comprehensive numerical classes. First, decoding the foundational sequences from 111 through 555, and then elevating into higher frequencies like 666 through 999, clearing the internet drama around numbers like 666, and decoding master numbers, mirror numbers, and custom triggers. After that, I'm going to teach you how to tell the difference between a genuine high vibe spiritual sign and obsessive mental pattern matching, using your physical body as a compass. And finally, we will wrap up with how to actively talk back to the universe, set specific sign triggers for big life choices, and map these sequences directly to numerology of the tarot deck. Before we open up and dive deep into these spiritual radios and tune into the frequencies, I want to briefly thank the sponsor of our podcast, which is my business, The Magic Siren. If you've been seeing repeating numbers or navigating major synchronicities, and you want to look at how these transits are playing out in your unique birth chart, I am here to walk that path with you. Over at themagicsiren.com, you can book a personalized birth chart reading, a tarot deep dive emailed reading, or a live one on one tarot or mentorship session. And because you are sitting in the circle with me today, you can use the code Sirens Circle at checkout to claim 10% off any of my readings, sessions, or workshops. All right, so take a deep breath, Open your mind, soften your heart, and let's tune in to the airwaves. Let's decode the secret language of the universe together. To really understand what is happening when these repeating numbers show up in your life, we have to pull back the curtain on how energy communicates with human consciousness. When people hear the phrase angel numbers, it's easy to picture floating beings in the clouds dropping glowing digits into your path. But if we strip away all of that extras, the angel numbers are simply high frequency numerical codes. It's vibrational signals used by your spirit guides, ancestors, and your higher self, as well as the universe, to communicate across dimensions. Because the universe is built on mathematical geometric principles, numbers act as a universal language. They bypass the analytical, logical ego and drop messages straight into your intuition. Now, if you tell a skeptic that you keep seeing 111 or 444, the first thing they're going to say is, "You're just looking for it." And believe it or not, they are actually half right, but for a completely different reason. In psychology and neuroscience, this is rooted in two brilliant concepts. The first comes from the legendary psychologist Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity. Jung defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidence, an event in the outside physical world that mirrors the internal psychological state, even though there is no direct causal link between the two. Jung recognized that the universe and the human psyche are not separate. They are constantly talking to each other, using external events, symbols, and timing as a mirror for what is unfolding deep within our soul. The second half of this mechanism lives directly in your physical brain in a network of neurons called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Now, your RAS acts as the ultimate biological spam filter for your conscious mind. Every single second, your senses are bombarded with millions of bits of sensory data: sounds, sights, textures, temperatures. If your brain processed all of that at once, your nervous system would fry in about 2 seconds. So your RAS filters out 99% of the noise and only allows information into your conscious awareness if it deems that information is important to you. This is why, when you decide you want to buy a specific red car, you suddenly start seeing that exact red car on every single street corner. The cars were always there, but your RAS just unlocked them from the background noise. Spirit uses this exact biological mechanism to talk to you. When your higher self or your guides want to hand you a message, pull you back into the present moment, or give you a nod of confirmation, they send subtle frequency nudges to your intuitive field. That frequency activates your RAS, causing you to look up at the clock precisely at 11:11, or glance at the receipt at the exact second it hits $4.44. The biological mechanism is neuroscience. The timing and the intention behind it are pure magic. It is where the bridge of the physical reality meets the cosmic intelligence, using your own body as the receiver for divine guidance. Now that we understand how our brain science and energy field work together to receive these signals, let's go through the core numerical sequences line by line. To truly unlock their meaning, we have to look at the ancient numerology root of each number, because numerology is the structural skeleton that gives these spiritual messages their specific flavor and weight. In traditional numerology, the number one represents the primal spark, the seed of creation, independence, and raw, unfiltered potential. It is the number of the initiator, the pioneer stepping into empty space to build something out of nothing. It carries a purely active, masculine, directive force. When 1 multiplies into 111 or 1111, that primal creative spark is amplified exponentially. It acts as an instant manifestation portal, signaling that the barrier between your thoughts and the physical reality are paper thin. When you see this sequence, immediately pause and ask yourself, what was I thinking about at the exact second I saw this number? Because 1 is the number of pure creation, seeing 111 is the universe taking a high speed snapshot of your mind. If you were dwelling on fear, it's a loving warning to redirect your focus. If you are envisioning a bold idea, it's confirmation that the path ahead is wide open and your thoughts are actively taking form. The number 2 introduces the principle of duality, balance, partnership, and receptive energy. Where 1 is the individual spark, 2 is the connection between two forces. It governs harmony, patience, diplomacy, and the subconscious gestation period where life forms in quiet darkness. When 222 appears, it takes that numerological theme of patience and balance and turns it into a direct message about divine timing. In our instant gratification culture, we want to launch an idea on Monday and see the full harvest by Friday. But 222 is the universe saying, you have planted the seed, but it is currently under the soil, working through its natural cycle. It reassures you that the right people and partnerships are aligning behind the scenes. It tells you not to dig up the seed to just check and see if it's growing, but to nurture the soil, trust the timeline, and remain receptive and balanced harmony. The number 3 represents the first complete geometric form in creation, the triangle. In numerology, 3 is the number of sacred trinity, mind, body, and spirit, past, present, and future, or birth, life, and rebirth. It carries the vibration of joyful self expression, expansion, communication, and creative synthesis. When 3 triples into 333, it acts as an alignment check across all 3 levels of your being. Spiritually, it signals that your guides, ancestors, or support team are surrounding you, encouraging you to bring your internal truth out into the open world. It shows up when you are being called to speak your mind, launch that creative endeavor, or express yourself authentically without holding back. Seeing 333 asks a simple question. Are your physical actions, your mental thoughts, and your spiritual values all working towards the same goal, or are you living out of sync? Align the Trinity and your creative power unlocks. In numerology, 4 is the number of physical reality, structure, order, and unshakable foundations. Think of the 4 cardinal directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 primary elements, or the 4 sturdy pillars holding up a house. It represents the physical manifestation of energy made dense, stable, and secure. Because 4 represents physical structure, seeing 444 carries a message of direct earthly protection and stability. It often arrives during moments of high stress, internal anxiety, or big life transitions, acting as an anchor. The spiritual message of 444 is the foundation under your feet is solid. You are being held, grounded, and protected in physical reality. It tells your nervous system that it is safe to drop the panic, step out of fight or flight, and keep taking practical, steady steps forward on solid ground. The number 5 sits directly at the center of the single digit numbers 1 through 9, making it the pivot point of the numerological wheel. Because it sits in the middle, 5 represents movement, volatility, adaptability, freedom, and radical change. It is the force that breaks the rigid 4 structure apart so evolution can start to take place. When 5 multiplies into 555, that central pivot point accelerates into high gear. Seeing 555 is a sign that a major shift is occurring in your life or that a sudden plot twist is heading your way. It often shows up right before or during times of big life transitions, like changing careers, moving to a new city or state, or stepping out of an old relationship. The spiritual message here is not to panic or dig your heels in to resist the change. 555 demands surrender, flexibility, and trust. It is telling you that the old timeline has expired to make room for something far more aligned, and all you have to do is match the speed of acceleration. Now let's step into the upper tier of single digit sequences from 666 through 999 and explore what happens when we hit master numbers and mirror sequences. We are going to start by stripping away centuries of internet drama, fear mongering, and Hollywood superstition around one number in particular so that we can see its true numerological beauty. In traditional numerology, 6 is the number of harmony, home, nurturing, family, beauty, and physical balance. It represents the delicate bridge between the material world and the emotional world. It is a deeply compassionate, grounded energy that seeks equilibrium. Pop culture has painted 666 as a terrifying or sinister sign, but in true spiritual numerology, it is a loving, gentle call to recenter. When 666 pops up on your screen or receipts, your guides are stepping in to say, look at where your focus is right now. You are overly consumed by material worries, financial anxiety, or hyperfixating on physical outcomes. Seeing 666 is a gentle tap on the shoulder, urging you to clear your head, step out of fear based scarcity, and bring your mind back into alignment with love and trust. 666 isn't a curse, it is a spiritual tune up asking you to balance your physical world with your inner peace. The number 7 is the seeker, the mystic, the philosopher, and the scholar of the single digits. In numerology, 7 governs deep inner wisdom, intuition, good luck, spiritual study, and the unseen realms. It represents the bridge where human intellect meets divine truth. When 7 multiplies into 777, you are receiving the ultimate green light of divine approval. This is the universe acknowledging that you are walking in direct alignment with your highest spiritual path. It often appears after you've taken a leap of faith, done deep inner shadow work, or made a decision that honored your soul over your ego. Seeing 777 is the universe saying you are doing the work, you are exactly where you are supposed to be, and divine synchronicities are unfolding around you in real time. In numerology, 8 is the number of executive power, authority, manifestation, and financial flow. Visually, 8 is the infinity sign turned vertically. It represents the endless, unbroken cycle of karma, cause and effect, and equal exchange. What you put into the world must return to you. Seeing 888 is a sign that a major harvest is coming in for you. If you've been pouring consistent energy, discipline, and integrity into your life, 888 arrives to signal that the energy is returning to you in the form of physical abundance, career breakthroughs, or financial rewards. It is the universe reminding you of your own power as a conscious creator. It says you are stepping into your personal authority. Step up, claim your worth, and receive the flow that you have worked so hard to build. The number 9 is the final single digit on the numerological wheel, carrying the wisdom and completion of all the numbers that came before it. It represents accumulation, humanitarianism, spiritual maturity, and the end of a long evolutionary cycle. When 999 enters your field, a door is actively slamming shut, not at a loss, but as a completion. Seeing 999 is a clear message that a major chapter, relationship, mindset, or career phase has officially run its course. It is the universe asking you to release your grip on what used to be so that you can make space for the fresh matrix waiting to form. It says the cycle is complete, step across the threshold with gratitude, and let the past fall away. Now, when you start seeing progressive sequences like 1, 2, 3, 4, or mirrored numbers like 1, 2, 2, 1, your guides are drawing your attention to momentum. Progressions like 1, 2, 3, 4 signal a step by step evolution, reminding you that you cannot skip steps on your journey. Mirror numbers point to self reflection, urging you to look at how your external environment is directly mirroring your internal beliefs. Beyond the standard triple digit sequences, Spirit will often set up personalized numerical codes specifically for you. This could be your birthday, your lucky number, or the birthday of an ancestor who has passed on. When these personal triggers flash in front of you, it is a personal sign from your support team. It's like a spiritual hug letting you know that you are protected and never walking alone. All right, now that we have unlocked the numerology dictionary, we have to tackle the most critical question in working with synchronicities. How do you actually know if a repeating number is a genuine spiritual download or if you are just obsessively hunting for patterns? Because if we're being honest, it is very easy to fall into a headspace where we are constantly staring at the clock, refreshing our phone, or scanning every single license plate, desperately looking for confirmation that you're doing the right thing. But true spiritual communication doesn't feel like anxious hunting. It feels like a quiet, sudden landing. To master this language, you need a clear, multi layered framework for discernment. Your physical body is the ultimate antenna for spiritual truth. Long before your analytical mind can process what a number means, your nervous system registers the frequency that it shifts. When a genuine synchronicity hits your field, it triggers a distinct physical response that we call the somatic meter. A real sign from spirit carries a sudden, unmistakable shift in your body. You might experience a wave of sudden, warm goosebumps, what we might call spiritual chills, a deep and effortless involuntary exhale, a sudden settling of tension in your chest, or a quiet feeling of cosmic calm dropping over you in a split second. It feels like a gentle click, an internal yes, or a sensation of the room momentarily turning quiet. On the flip side, mental pattern matching feels entirely different. If you find yourself checking the time every 2 minutes, straining your eyes to find a pattern on a receipt, or feeling a sense of frantic, desperate anxiety until a number appears, that might just be your ego looking for a sign. Your ego seeks out of fear and a need for control. Your spirit receives signs with stillness, presence, and surrender. A true sign will always catch you off guard, and you won't have to hunt for it, force it, or manufacture it. The second key to discernment is understanding that the number itself is only half of the code. The environment, your emotional state, and your immediate internal voice hold the rest of the meaning. A number on its own is just a number, but a number embedded in a moment is a message. When a number flashes in front of you, the absolute first thing you should do is pause, freeze, and rewind your mind by 10 seconds. Ask yourself, what was I thinking, feeling, or speaking in the exact millisecond before my eyes landed on that number? If you were contemplating on quitting a toxic situation or taking a bold leap and you look up and see 555 or 777, the context is telling you that the shift is divinely backed. If you were spiraling in self doubt or financial anxiety, 444 or 666 suddenly appears, the context reveals that the universe is actively stepping in to ground your nervous system back into safety. Let's say that you were having a conversation about an old pattern that you're ready to break, and 999 pops up on a passing vehicle. The context confirms that you are officially closing that energetic chapter. The number is never acting in a vacuum. It is an energetic punctuation mark at the end of every specific thought sentence that you were sending out into the universe. If you are ever in doubt about whether a message is real or just mental noise, you can lean on an ancient spiritual rule, the law of three. A true high value sign from your guides rarely shows up as a one off anomaly that leaves you guessing. Spirit works through rhythmic repetition to ensure that your conscious mind gets the memo without falling into obsession. When a message is truly trying to breach your awareness, you will typically see the same numbers frequently repeat 3 times across completely independent channels within a short window of time. For example, you might see 333 on a digital clock. Notice an invoice total that landed on $33.30. And then open a book or a video timestamp that sits right at 333. When a sequence hits you in 3 totally unrelated physical spaces within 24 to 48 hours, you can drop the skepticism and know that the universe is actively knocking on your door. Synchronicities tend to come in massive, concentrated waves during pivotal moments of personal evolution and structural transition. They are naturally quiet during periods of simple maintenance and exceptionally loud when you are standing on the edge of a major life shift. In my own life and work, whenever I've been on the verge of a massive pivot, whether that was making the choice to move my life and business out here to Costa Rica, or reconstructing my core membership offerings for my students, or stepping out completely on a new path, the airwaves become incredibly loud. Numbers stop feeling like random occurrences and begin operating like a real time validation mechanism. They arrive to confirm that the ground beneath you is solid, even when you're taking a blind leap of faith into the unknown. They show up to remind you that the physical reality around you is simply reorganizing itself to match the shift that you've already made on the inside. Now that we know how to decode the numbers and discern real downloads from mental noise, let's talk about how to actually use this language in your daily life. Because synchronicities are not meant to be something that you just passively notice, screenshot, and forget about, they are meant to be used as an interactive, real life GPS system for your personal expansion and intuitive decision making. Most people view spiritual communication as a one-way street. They wait around hoping that the universe will drop a sign in their lap. But you can actually open up a direct two-way dialogue. When you are facing a massive crossroads, a tricky career choice, or feeling stuck in a loop of overthinking, you can actively request a specific beacon sign from your guides. Here is how you can set an intentional trigger. Be extremely specific. Give it a firm time boundary and then let it go. You might say out loud or in your journal, Spirit, if taking this new opportunity is in alignment with my highest good, show me 777 3 times within the next 48 hours. And if it isn't, bring me clarity through quiet stillness. The key here is detachment. Once you ask, don't hunt for that number. Go about your day. Stay grounded in your physical tasks and allow your reticular activating system and intuitive field to do the heavy lifting. If the numbers show up within your window, you have your confirmation. And if they don't, well, that silence is an answer in itself, telling you to slow down, gather more information, or look closer at the foundation before moving forward. A common trap with angel numbers is treating them like a replacement for real world effort. Seeing 888 50 times a day will not automatically put money in your bank account. If you aren't opening up your laptop, pitching your services, or doing the actual work, nothing is really going to happen. Seeing 111 won't build a new project if you never take that first step or leap. The universe hands you that numerical sign to validate your direction, but not to do the physical heavy lifting for you. When a number appears, treat it as a call to action. When 111 or 1111 appears, immediately write down the idea you were just having and take one physical step to make it real. Send the email, buy the domain, or outline the project. When 222 appears, take an action that honors patience and partnership. Reach out to the collaborator, schedule a follow up, or deliberately pause and let a situation breathe instead of forcing an outcome. When 333 appears, channel your energy into authentic self expression. Speak your truth in a conversation you've been avoiding. Create something with your hands, or share a piece of your story publicly. When 444 appears, take a physical action that grounds your stability. Organize your workspace, review your budget, or go for a walk to settle your nervous system. When 555 appears, prepare for movement by clearing out physical or emotional clutter. Cancel that unaligned subscription, draw a long overdue boundary, or declutter your space to make room for new energy. When 666 appears, perform a physical recentering ritual. Step away from the screens, do a quick somatic check in, or do something nourishing for your physical body to pull your mind out of scarcity and back into balance. When 777 appears, invest in your inner wisdom. Spend 15 minutes in quiet study. Write down an intuitive download in your journal. Or commit to a spiritual practice that you've been putting off. When 888 appears, step into your personal power and money magic. Send that invoice. Apply for the higher tier role. Price your services with confidence, or organize your income streams to welcome flow. When 999 appears, complete a cycle in real time. Finally, delete the old draft. Write up a lingering project. Throw away items tied to past baggage, or explicitly say goodbye to an old habit that no longer serves you. Remember, these angel numbers are your call to action. Now, to take your intuitive practice even deeper, you can map these numerical sequences directly to the major arcana of the tarot deck. The tarot deck is fundamentally a story built on the sacred journey of the Fool through numbers. 111 maps to card 1, the Magician. It's all about having the tools on your table and actively directing your willpower to manifest your reality. 222 maps to card 2, the High Priestess. It connects directly to intuition, sacred stillness, holding secrets, and trusting the unseen wisdom of the subconscious. 333 maps to card 3, the Empress. It embodies rich fertility, creative birth, wild abundance, and bringing beauty into physical form. 444 maps to card 4, the Emperor. It represents structure, sovereignty, steady authority, and building long lasting systems that protect your vision. 555 maps to card 5, the Hierophant. It challenges rigid traditional beliefs and institutional rules, asking you to expand your wisdom, step into your own spiritual ethics, and learn through dynamic experience. 666 maps to card 6, the Lovers. Beyond romantic connection, it centers on alignment, core values, making choices from a place of deep harmony and balancing physical desires with higher truth. 777 maps to card 7, the chariot. It embodies focused willpower, victorious momentum, mastering opposing forces, and keeping your eyes locked on the road as you drive your vision forward. 888 maps to card 8, strength. It represents the balance of raw power with compassion or cosmic karma, truth, and cause and effect, returning to restore equilibrium. And 999 maps to card 9, the Hermit. It signifies the completion and accumulation of wisdom, stepping away from external noise, shining your own light in the dark, and honoring the completion of an internal journey. By connecting the angel numbers that you see on the clock to their corresponding tarot archetypes, you unlock a much richer, multidimensional language. You stop seeing random digits and you start seeing a living, breathing story that your guides are weaving directly into your everyday life. Okay, we have covered so much ground today. We moved out of the heavy astrological movements and tuned into our internal receivers directly to the high frequency airwaves of the universe. The biggest takeaway that I want you to carry in your heart as you step out of the circle today is simply this: you are never walking alone. The universe is never silent. Whether it's a 111 flashing on your phone screen or a 444 on a receipt when you need reassurance, or even a quiet wave of goosebumps settling over your body, these synchronicities are proof that you are in constant, active co creation with something far greater than yourself. So, my challenge for you this week is to start using your inner cosmic GPS with real discernment and playfulness. Stop hunting for signs out of anxiety and start receiving them with presence. Pick one specific beacon number or sequence this week, set your boundary, and open up a direct dialogue with your spirit team. Keep a small log in your journal or on your phone of when these numbers show and the context of what you were thinking in that exact second, as well as the somatic feelings within your body. Watch how quickly your relationship with the unseen world transforms when you start talking back. Now, next week, we are going to build directly on this intuitive foundation and explore a boundary that trips up almost every single reader, seeker, and intuitive practitioner at some point. Next week's episode is all about the difference between intuition and divination. We are going to break down why trusting your inner gut voice is completely different from reading external sacred tools like tarot cards, runes, or astrology charts, how to avoid leaning on tools as an anxious crutch, and how to blend your raw inner knowing with outer divination systems so you can make unshakable, sovereign choices. It is going to be a deeply grounded episode in personal authority, so make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. I also want to say thank you so much for bringing your frequency into the circle today, for sharing your time with me, and for tuning in to these divine signals. If today's episode gave you a moment of clarity, brought a smile to your face, or helped you make sense of the synchronicities popping up in your life, please take a quick second to leave a 5-star rating, maybe drop a review, share in the comments what your favorite angel number is, or maybe share this podcast with a friend who would also enjoy it. It helps our circle grow in the most organic, beautiful way. And as always, if you want to look at the exact transits, placements, and blueprints shaping your life right now, come pull up a chair with me at themagicsiren.com. Whether you want to deep dive into your birth chart, whether you want to do a live tarot session, or a multi-week mentorship, I am here to help you translate the messages of your soul. Don't forget to use your listener code Siren Circle at checkout for 10% off all of my readings. Keep your eyes open, trust your somatic meter, and pay attention to the winks from the universe this week. Sending you so much aloha and high vibe energy from right here in the circle. Until next week, stay magical. Mahalo.